Hi everyone, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, Monday Motivation. Des here on a beautiful summer's evening down by the Trent. Picking up from where I left off on Friday in exactly the same spot. Get to use this and take advantage of it so much. So again, looking forward, reflecting on the weekend and trying to process it all. I'm down here just getting in a walk. Done quite a lot of walking already today, so quite pleased with the amount I have. And whilst over the next few days I'll be using the motivations I've created through DOdaily to pick up the pace, get running again, get into my training. Monday at the moment is just a case of easing in, making the most of it, and just sort of coming to terms with everything. And it's kind of been a case of that. I mentioned on Friday and throughout last week how I found it tough last week, not had a week quite like that for a while. One or two things upset me, really did sort of get to me, and I can normally be positive and keep churning through things and enjoying what I do. And whilst I was still doing that, and I was still finding every ounce of positivity and enthusiasm to keep enjoying everything that's so good in general, it really did catch up on me. And I'm just being completely honest with that. It didn't sort of stop me doing anything. And at the weekend when I was looking, I mentioned on Friday I was looking for a little bit of headspace, the fact I had a little bit of independence, and the fact Kay was away on her Hindu, looking forward to using that. And in many ways I didn't really do it that way, do it the way I said I was going to do it. Fill my time by getting about and doing things, and it created me a little bit of anxiety going into the new week, if I'm totally honest. Felt really anxious this morning, and I'd done something on Saturday which I will sort of pinpoint. I sort of ranted through social media, and that's a definite no-no. I've spoke about trying to be that little bit better, over time. When I was a little bit drunk, I did a rant through WhatsApp on Facebook, and like I say, that's a definite no-no. A few years ago I took a decision, to sort of conscious decision, again just being completely honest, to use it for all the good things I do. We don't need it. It's us that control social media, and people blame it for the way we do things, the way we react sometimes, and at the end of the day it's user error. And I'd put something out there, I don't even know what it meant. I don't even know who it was aimed at, but it was such a negative thing, and I woke up and those anxieties really kicked in. So feeling all of that from not taking that time I was allowing myself, I was giving myself to process, just made me feel a bit uneasy to start a brand new week. But what I did this morning, thought of what I could do almost to come to terms with the last couple of days. Of course, Monday's a great time. I always say it every single week, to go again. And I was sort of racking my brains and thinking how I could get over that mini blip, that anxiety. I was never going to take it too far forward. It's just something that, obviously through my upset and not feeling great last week, having a few drinks, some of the frustration probably come out. And I don't like that. I don't like doing that. I've done it in the past, and I see people now who use social media and they argue about this and that, and sort of create, sort of force opinion. And whilst I'm here with an opinion, trying to explain things in a way that I feel works and can help, not forcing it on anybody, trying to be the example. So doing something like that is definitely not an example. I pride myself in the way I approach things, and I really, really didn't like that. So this morning it was just a case of realising the anxiety was there, admitting it in the first place, admitting that bit was slightly wrong. Don't get me wrong, no one was hurt, no one was harmed, nobody was even offended. It wasn't aimed at anybody, or as far as I know from what I can remember. It was just a bit of offloading. And again, this is why I do DOdaily. I talk, I get it out there. I try and get things off my chest. I try and think it through. And even when I'm not filming, I'm thinking about ways I can be better. So like I say, this morning it was a case of just sort of wrapping it all up, almost realising that I can go again. I can have a better week. And that's all I ever say any week, isn't it? If we can have a slightly better week than the one before, we're doing okay. Even if you're having a bit of a shocker like I felt I was having last week, if you can take that little bit more from any given week, it's gonna pick you up, isn't it, and make you feel really good about what you're doing. So having admitted it, wrapped it, realised my own anxieties, my own mistakes, the things I wasn't particularly pleased I'd done, and where I'd kind of gone wrong. In many ways it all makes sense. Like I said there before, the frustration came out a little bit when really didn't want to sort of show that, especially publicly, but it came out, and it's just something we have to live with and move on. But the important thing for me this morning was to understand why it happened, how the week developed, why I probably didn't use the weekend in the way I said I was going to, and then that happened. So it's really, really important for me to sort of take that on board and realise that I can do things this week to be that little bit better. Again, I'd gone on for my training, I was on a 12-day sort of non-drinking streak, nearly 2 weeks, and that was making me feel good before the hiccup. Again, the hiccup probably knocked me off that, and I'm not making excuses. That's the reality of it. It was sort of distracting me a little bit from what I really wanted to be doing, and the fact I had time over the weekend to sort of do what I wanted to do. It probably just sort of it was almost like the perfect storm. But I realised this week that I can just get back at it, go on another streak. Kay's back, we'll enjoy some time together tonight, and then I'll set about all those daily motivations, trying to pick up with the running, get back into my healthy eating, and really sort of focus again. But what I've also done is just treated myself a little bit. Forest are playing in La Manga on Friday, and it seems bonkers, but just decided to nip over. It's going to be a very brief trip, but a few things fell into place and meant it's possible. It's not something I'd normally do. I wouldn't quite be so off the cuff. I think it was last Monday, speaking about being spontaneous. So again, almost subconsciously heeding my own advice. I booked a short trip. I've invited a friend to come with me, but I'm going regardless. Again, it might be that opportunity, if my friend can't make it might be that opportunity to have that bit of time again to myself. Doing something I really, really enjoy, rather than getting bogged down with the things I wasn't particularly planning on doing. And that's a good thing, isn't it? Because I took time this morning, I'm thinking it's Monday, I've got an opportunity to put that behind me, keep pressing on, keep pushing forward, keep being positive, not beating myself up too much, because there's no point in that. Once it's done, it's done. Like I say, it wasn't something I particularly wanted to have to talk about or have to think about. That's the bigger thing, isn't it? It's what you don't know and where your mindset was. But that's why it's important to use social media in such a positive way. I'm a big user of it. People probably look at it sometimes and go, oh, that's a bit wishy-washy, that's a bit daft, what's he saying now, what's he up to, why is he writing that? But I also had a conversation with a friend who I'd not seen for not a close friend, even not someone I'd not seen for a few years, but knows of the time I talk about on DOdaily where things were rough. I had a conversation at the cricket on Friday evening, actually. I caught up with a friend who said they totally understand why I use social media the way I do. They said to me, I can see it's your therapy, and I really enjoy the way you sort of open and honest with things. And that was important for me to know as well, because again, it kind of reassures me that it's okay to be doing what I'm doing. It's absolutely fine to be doing it the way I do. But again, there's a way to sort of go about how we put ourselves out there and put ourselves across, and it's about being positive. That's not a smokescreen, because I've already admitted in this episode of all the crappy things, the crappy ways I used it and the ways I don't want to use it, and mistakes I've made. But as long as we can live with ourselves, come to terms with it, move forward, realise it was a blip, realise the way things had almost transpired against me last week. There was no reason for me ranting on social media or WhatsApp groups, then that would be a problem. But I completely understand how I got to that point and how I can sort of pull myself back in shape and keep pushing forward. And that is all DOdaily is about on a Monday, at a time when I'm always talking about we go again. That's all I can do now. I can just go again. Everything I've said, as I've already said at various points during this episode, didn't harm anybody, didn't upset anyone. It was just me and my mindset, my frame of mind. It could have knocked me for 6, excuse the cricket pun, but I've realised that I need to move on, push forward, deal with it. It's a choice now. If I don't deal with it, it's me making a decision not to be as happy and content as I want to be. And all I really want to do is get back to that place I was a couple of weeks ago. Totally understood through this whole process, through the last couple of years of filming myself, talking, getting my thoughts out there, that we have our ups and downs. But no point me saying it for the sake of it and then pretending everything's perfect, everything's fantastic, when it hasn't quite been that way. Again, I think there's a lot of positives to take from all that. Hopefully you understood what I was saying and how it's all sort of worked out for me. But by treating myself to that little trip, by realising that I didn't do what I said I was going to do this weekend, use it to come to terms with last week, by being honest and open and forthright with myself, strict, saying this is what happened, this is the way it is. Sometimes we can put our head in the sand and pretend that we've done nothing wrong when deep down we know we have. That normally manifests itself and becomes a problem later on. Definitely feeling great. I'm going to see Forest. Anybody who's watched it over the last few months knows how important that is. And I'm ready now. I'm ready for football. Ready for a bit of sun as well. So as much as it's going out there with that purpose to do something I really enjoy, it's going to give me that headspace, a bit of sun on my face. We always talk about the importance of that. Walking around here every evening, taking in the last bit of daylight is absolutely fantastic. Does wonders for me when I've had a bad day, when I've had a bad week, when I'm not quite experiencing it how I want to. So today it's just about we go again. We always go again, and there's always a way to make it that little bit better for ourselves. And I think I've managed to do that. I'll find a way to get back to doing something I enjoy, put myself in order, and looking forward to the week ahead. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Hope yours is absolutely fantastic. If you could take anything from what I've said today, if it's not gone to plan so far, or things aren't going to plan at the moment, just find a way to do something you enjoy. Make it happen. I've had to force it almost, but it's happening for me this week. I'm really looking forward to the weekend and really looking forward to getting back to all the things I do. So until Tuesday training, when I'll be stepping it up that little bit, just doing it.